everyone, it's April Garwood from Banana Moon Studio. I am having to work inside today because it is literally freezing outside, but hopefully we can still have a great video here. Anyhow, I am wanting to show you today how to finish your project. So I have this finished shawl scarf that I've made, and I don't have my ends woven in yet. And so I'd like to show you how that's done, how to weave in ends and finish off your projects. So I'm going to go ahead and turn this camera around and show you how that's done. When you finish your crochet project, when you have completed the very last stitch, your directions should tell you to fasten off. And what that means is, while you still have your hook sitting here in this last loop, you will cut off your yarn, leaving at least 6 inches. I sometimes even leave 8 or 10 inches of yarn. And so you're going to cut it away from your skein, and then I don't still have my crochet hook here, but if I did, then I would be pulling that cut end all the way through the loop with my hook, and then I pull that in tight in order to make this knot. The last loop that I had in this project is actually right here, and this end has been pulled all the way through it. So leave yourself a good long end. Too short is a problem because your knot can wind up coming undone, and then your project will unravel. So leave a nice long end. You can always cut off a little extra if you decide it's too long. And then you're going to take a yarn needle. A yarn needle has a very large eye for getting yarn through it. It also has a blunt tip. This comes to a little bit of a point, but it's not sharp. It doesn't hurt to poke it with my finger. So a blunt tip. To thread your yarn needle, you see how this yarn has it has multiple strands. If I twist it extra like this, it gets a little bit thinner even. So I'll twist it and then fold it between my fingers to make a little loop like this. And that loop I can push through this eye and then pull like this. So I have the end now through my yarn needle, and now I'm going to weave it in. You do this on the wrong side of your project. So I am currently looking at the wrong side. This is the side that I don't really want to show. So I'm going to weave in my ends on the wrong side. And then I need to take my yarn needle and use it to weave this end in through the stitches on the back side of the fabric. There's not just a super precise place that you need to put this, but you're going to work it through the loops of the stitches on the back of your fabric. Kind of like this. So then I'll pull it through here. And then I'm going to come down just to this next row of stitches and run it through some of the loops along the back here. Even if my project were wider, there's still benefit to going kind of in a zigzag fashion as you weave in your ends. This one is limited because it's not very wide here, but still it's a good idea to zigzag back and forth. And so then I'll go through the loops here. Okay. There we go. Normally that's not so hard. And then sometimes I find what helps is when this end starts to get a little bit short and it's hard to get my needle where I want it, I'll actually slide this up in the eye because it gives me, I don't know, it makes it easier to get the needle in. Okay, so now run it through these. And then once your end's starting to get pretty short, you want to actually go right back through where you were. That just helps make it a little extra secure. So I'm going to go back through where I was, but if I put my needle right in here, then what I did on the last step is just going to come undone. So I'll skip this loop and put it under here, and that allows my end to stay caught even though I'm going back through where I just put the end. And sometimes I will even use the wrong end of my needle to go through. As that end is getting short, the pointed end of my needle gets harder to use. So I'll sometimes even use the wrong end of my needle to go through some loops just so that I can get a little more of the end in there. Okay, so at this point I have just this little bit left here that I can't really get through with my needle, and I'll trim that off. Okay, and now my end is woven in, and you can see it there, but it's not just, super obvious. And then of course on the right side of my fabric, you can't see it at all. So that is how you weave in the end on a crochet project. Please be sure to check the description box below for links. A link to this pattern, which is a crochet scarf or shawlette, which it's hard to show you the whole thing because of how close the camera is to me, but here is a nice picture of my Chelsea scarf. This is a free crochet pattern on my site. I'll also give you the link to my website and a link to subscribe to my newsletter. Please remember to like, share, subscribe, and leave your comments below about what you want to learn in crochet so that I can make a video to help teach those things. Thanks so much and have a great day.